Hello. All right. Um, let me see if there it goes. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah. Just check this out. Look at that. Too bad it doesn't grow teeth. Anyway. Yeah. This stuff's really great. Anyway. I was thinking, Jewish tradition in regards to when you get married. You break a shard of glass bottle, and the tradition of breaking a wine bottle on a ship's mast. Um, Same dealio. It appears as if in a lot of these temples, these statues were holding a massive phone ring. Um, anyway, uh, let me check to see who's calling me. I don't want any. I just don't. Hello?
Good morning, call number for quality.
Anyway, um, these statues held these fantastically large pieces of lightning glass. So what ended up happening is it would look like water. When the sun would shine on these particular pieces of glass that these statues, these deities were holding, whether up against a wall or whatnot, it would look like water. So you would have the personification of the god Jupiter, god of water, trident, name it. Now, what ended up happening is there would be these enormously colossal lightning storms in the silica of the planet. And with the fine dust from grains of sand, you could polish this glass and create enormously beautiful sculptures. Now, some of the reasons why their arms are probably lobbed off is due to the same reason which these sculptures were so beautiful. When lightning strikes up the glass, it creates these. It looks like it's the sun. It looks like the sun, especially when the sun actually captures it. So during the day, as these fantastic sculptures were illuminated by were illuminated by the sun, it would be create a giant lens. And these giant lenses, especially in the tendrils of the lightning strikes, would cut off parts of the sculptures, or if they stay there too long in a specific spot during a specific season, it would continuously pass over the stone in an area, in a region, and it would lob off parts of the statue. In a way, it was a reminder of the power of the gods, as well as a threat, um, ultimate power. So I imagine that these things dawned the Roman Empire as well, and the Greek Empire, and most definitely the Egyptian Empire, worshipping of a sun god via these enormous rocks. Those are actual lightning rods, those are seeds, in order to generate a much larger piece of glass. So, carved pieces of metal were actually from lightning strikes. So some of these people had enormously sized lenses, and all you have to do is break off the tendrils in order to create a huge crystal ball and just polish it with the sand as best as possible. So yeah, it will always happen. There will always be social groups that will attempt to create this scenario to try to be gods, to utilize a similar system in order to dominate either a social group or take over the planet, which is a trend and a behavioral patterning within the human species, which was probably started by the Egyptians. And they will always attempt to make themselves appear bigger than anybody else. Now, I'm sure the Greeks and the Egyptians discovered that this had really fantastic disinfecting qualities, but that didn't contradict the homicidal quality of these particular objects, these relics of interest. And these people are still doing it. And even the Jewish people kind of forgot as to why the heck they break glass. Anyway, hopefully this memory jog brings you back to your humanity and not to having your head up in the clouds of your stone on fire from weapons fire. May common sense prevail once again in human history, as opposed to the extermination which appears to have been ingrained in our instinctual nature due to circumstances that we cannot control and people that should not be in positions of power due to a piece of glass. One more thing. Some of the glass, let me introduce you to a substance called helenite. Helenite is when volcanoes erupt. Helenite takes place when volcanoes erupt, and the heat from the ash and whatnot creates a green rock. So some of these might have been extremely large, and they would have had them in these particular regions as well, which means they had green lasers, and they were offing themselves with radiation. It would have been a really beautiful effect to see, but when you could probably sit there and seed volcanic ash and create giant pieces of helenite with lightning. Perhaps one day humanity, I mean, granted, we owe a great deal of evolution in society due to these fantastic events. I mean, they were on the dollar bill, which means they were using helenite back in the day. Which is probably why the dollar bill's off green. And they have webs, just webs of light. They even have reflective plates from Egyptian era. And the light in the dollar bill, they have 4 candles. So they kind of had a defensive net, but humanity will always attempt to kill itself with what it considers to be powerful gifts from the gods, which is actually just a lightning strike and silica and volcanic ash. Anyway, by the way, that was somebody who's supporting a burglary from a bank. Oh, I would like to note that these people are constantly demanding that we surrender, and they'll keep us from employment. They'll keep us from anything. In this instance, the bank went and robbed me. And I have to sue the bank, as well as PayPal, for allowing a third party to burglarize me. Anyway, have fun.